Hey everybody, today I've got some more sketchbook ideas for you, and I'm gonna use Karin Markers again because this video is sponsored by Karin Markers. I'm really excited for all of these ideas, so let's head right in. So this is the color palette that I picked for the first page, and I put something in between the pages to protect the other pages, and then I started to draw these circles. This is gonna be a moon in the background, so I started with my lightest color and then moved towards darker colors. It's sort of like a gradient, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I love it when you can see a little bit of the lines. It gives it a kind of style that I really like. So just make sure you go in the right direction. Like I made sure that I was roughly going in those circles so it would look good. And then I decided that I didn't really like the white in the middle, so kind of got rid of that. And then I used a brush with a lot of water and cleaned up some of the leakage here, and I blended all of that. And with this purple, it's always so stunning, like it changes color. It's one of my favorite colors in the set, but it's just so weird. Here you can see how it looks after it's dry. Like it's still a very pretty color, it's just very different, but I know this now, so I kind of planned for this. I wanted the sky to be a little bit more blue, so here you can see I'm using the black color, and in the foreground I'm just drawing the silhouettes of trees, which is much easier than drawing a whole tree with leaves and everything. It's just the silhouettes of the branches and everything. And then I added some sparkles. Those could be maybe stars, or I was thinking more in terms of fireflies. So this is basically it. You can change this up, customize it, change the colors. It's a very simple idea. And the next one is even more simple. I used the same colors here so everything goes together nicely. Split the page, not the cage, in the middle, and on the top you can see I'm doing a sun shape, and I'm using all of the warm colors here, and then on the bottom is gonna be waves. And it's pretty simple. I kept it like really simple. I didn't want to overcomplicate this. This is just a fun thing that you can do, and you can simplify even further or add more details. You could do branches in the foreground or whatever you want to, but you can see here for the ocean I was just doing lines. I was using the more cool tones, so the pink and the purple tone, and for the sun I was using the pink and the orange and yellow tone. So we have the pink everywhere, so it kind of goes together nicely, and we have the more cooler and more warmer tones split pretty evenly on the page. You can see how it looks when I blend it a little bit with the brush and the water again, and this is how it looks dry, a little bit different. I really like how moody it looked in the end. So this is the first page spread, and now for the next one I was starting off with a compass. You can use all kinds of round objects as always. I was just making a few circles on the page, and these are our starting point, so you're not starting with a blank page. I put some tape there to protect the other side, and then I started to sketch some flowers or leaves, just plants and little branches with some fruits on them. Some have blooms. So I was doing different kinds of plants, and one each in every circle. So this really makes the page a little bit more cohesive. It's just not some random flowers around, so it helps with the composition to have those circles. And then I started to color them, and I used a green tone that I really like, and also a teal tone. Those are my favorite colors. Like with every art medium, mostly I use this kind of sort of sap green. It's a little bit lighter than a sap green, and a teal color. And then I colored in the flowers with pink, orange, and purple. So I was making sure that I wasn't going overboard with the colors. Not every single color. It should be a little bit cohesive, but I was using a bunch of colors to make all of this fun. And then I was using just a fine liner and going around everything and making the circles black. Basically, I was also using the black Karin marker for the bigger areas, and for the fine details I was using the fine liner, so that made my life a lot easier and I could add in a lot of details and really get those sharp edges, because of course the Karin markers, they're meant to blend together. So if you want the sharp edges, I found that adding another art supply like a fine liner or a colored pencil can really help if you have areas where you don't want the colors to blend. And in all of the areas where you do want them to blend, I use the Karin markers, and also, like I said, for the larger areas in those circles. And you can see it really starting to pop now that we have the darker background, and it really gives it a little something. It makes it a little bit more interesting. It's not just plants floating around, it's plants floating around in circles. Like, it gives it a little something, and adding shapes behind your drawings can always be a good idea for any sketchbook page, because it's gonna make it look a little bit more interesting. And like I said, it's gonna really help with the composition, and you don't have to think about that so much because you already kind of have it sorted out. And by the way, if you're interested in the Karin markers, I always try my best to leave links to everything. So I will definitely link the Karin markers in the description box below. You can get the same set that I have, or you can try a smaller set to start out with to see whether you like them. They are very juicy, and that's why I really love to work with them on watercolor paper, because they behave very similar to watercolors but in pens. So I feel like sometimes it's much less daunting to pick up a pen than it is to mix your watercolors. So I really like it for the convenience and for all of the kind of textures that you get with them. And I have featured them in a lot of my videos, and I will continue to do so because I really like them and they're so fun to use. You can see now that I'm starting to add more details with the pen so that it pops even more, gives it a little bit of an outline so it's a little bit sharper and just has a little something. And you can customize those plants as you wish. You can add more flowers or different colors. I would love to see your version of this. And if you decide to do it, then tag me on Instagram at visualmindart. It might take forever and always for me to see it and respond, but I try my best to do it. And sometimes you might see me like and comment on your picture like 4 months later. So please excuse me if I don't see it, if you mention me in a story, because unfortunately it's gone after 24 hours and I often miss that because I have ADHD and I can't look at my Instagram 24/7 and always check it out, and I will forget about things. So please tag me in your posts, like on the picture and not just in the description, so I can see it later on as well. Here you can see the finished page. And now we're starting with the next one, which is this little kitty cat. And the idea here, I mean, bear with me, I'm gonna draw another cat and more plants. Like, you've seen me do that a million times now. But the idea here is that the plants around the cat will kind of give the cat the shape. I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like a negative painting where you can only see the cat appear because of what is around it, like it is cut out. I hope that makes somewhat sense. You will see what I mean. So I have all of these plants, leaf shapes, everything around the cat, and I'm starting to use pretty much the same colors that I was using in the other piece. I tried to go for cohesive color schemes, and like I said, these colors are my favorite. Like this green tone and this teal tone, I really love those. I don't really like other green tones for some reason. I don't like the very blue saturated green tones, so I go for the very warm green tone and then the teal tone and combine those, and I really like the effect that I get from that. So I have kind of different green tones, even though the teal isn't really that green. So you can see I started to really color in all of those. And with the darker tone, we're also getting a little bit more contrast here. So it all comes together very slowly. Like, I'm gonna add more definition to this, and I hope it's gonna make sense to you. You can see I also added in orange, so we have the warmer tones and the cooler tones and a little bit of a balance here. And I have a lot of colors here, but made sure I don't have the entire rainbow of colors, because you can easily go overboard and it's really hard to make too many colors work well. So you can see now I'm erasing all of the pencil lines, and then I will go in and add more definition to all of the doodles that I started here. And for that, you could use a fine liner pen, but this time I decided to use a colored pencil. I used the same color for everything. I used this purple tone, and I made sure that I had a rather sharp edge tip, whatever you call that. And I sharpened my pencil a few times here and there and made sure that it looked sharp. I'm really running out of words here. Like, this is insane. So I am giving everything an outline, basically. And now you can see it come together more because it's looking a little bit cleaner, a little bit more sharp. And then I added in a little bit of shadows as well. You could do the shadows with the Karin markers very easily, but I decided to do it with the colored pencil this time. And with the eyes, I wasn't really sure. Like, I wanted this comical style, but I thought it looked so weird. So I changed up the eyes again, and I'm so glad I did because they looked much better after I changed them. You can see here I started off with the shadows, so I just made sure that the cat would cast a little bit of a shadow. Now I'm changing the eyes like I mentioned, and yeah, I think it looks much better. I like it more. And I gave the cat a little tongue sticking out of the mouth because I thought it would be cute. And just a few details, but the cat is mostly white because I really wanted this cat out effect. So you can see that I'm adding in more shadows, and I left the little part where the tail doesn't touch any plant. So you can really see that the reason why you can see the cat is because it is in front of all of those leaves. I hope that makes sense. This is the finished page spread here, and now we're going on, and you get a little bit of a bonus idea this time. This is not in my sketchbook technically. I made a card because my Taekwondo teacher is pregnant, and so I painted this little teddy bear with the dobok, which is the traditional clothing that you wear when you do Taekwondo. And I decided to include it in this video because why not film it, and maybe you get some inspiration from this as well and decide to draw a teddy bear in, I don't know, any kind of outfit. So I made my sketch and then I colored it in again with Karin markers, and I decided to make the teddy bear this beige tone. At first I wanted it to be brown, but then I thought it would be really harsh and hard to see the details. So I made it this tone, and with the orange made sure that it looks fluffy, and I added in some flowers and some balloons to kind of make it more interesting, and the teddy bear has something to hold up. And on the bottom I wrote "Welcome little fighter" in German. Like, it's fighter but the female version. There's no such thing in English. I think there's just
a non-gendered word, which in a lot of cases is better, honestly. But yeah, I wrote that, and because our Taekwondo teacher kept referring to her baby as a little fighter, so here we go. I wrote that on the card. I thought it was fitting with the traditional Taekwondo clothes, and so this is the card that I did for her, and I really hope she likes it. By the time this goes live, she has probably gotten this card. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you liked those ideas, and if you did so, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye!